What's up, guys? Back again. This video is a little bit different from the stuff that I usually do, and I was kind of gonna make this into a YouTube reel, but I decided that I'm not ready to launch reels yet because if I start doing reels, I don't think I'll be super consistent with it, like how I'm trying to drop these videos every day. So I figured I'll make it into a YouTube video, right? This one is we're gonna be talking about etiquettes, right? This one kind of falls under dating advice or like going out or just proper mannerisms, grooming, like whatever, being like a proper gentleman or whatever, you know. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over like restaurant settings and like 14 to 15 things that you shouldn't do or should do or make best practice of on your next date. Like these things are gonna help you, seem more charming, seem more knowledgeable, um, and just all over give you a better experience when you're dining out, whether you're taking a girl out, your girlfriend out, whatever. These are just things you should know when you're in a restaurant setting and environment, how you should act, how you should behave, so you don't look like a complete Neanderthal, unless that's what you're looking for, or unless you're, like your swag is just, I don't know, if you're just heavy swagging, like it doesn't matter what the fuck you do, but like it kind of does at the same time, right? Because no matter what, like no matter what you do, everything matters in a sense. And if you are a heavy swagger or whatever, I'm just making up words here, then you'll still know that this is the right way to approach a situation. This is the right way to move in a certain situation, right? It's all about knowing how to move. Anyways, restaurant etiquette 101 on a date. Let's go. First thing is a lot of people when they have like their napkins and their tablecloths when you sit down, the first thing you see, a lot of people, like a lot of guys I know, I used to do it as well. They make a bib with their tablecloth. I don't know why you do that. Don't do that. Don't be making bibs. You're not a baby. You don't need to. You don't need to cover up your shirt. Even if you're wearing a white shirt, even if you're wearing a super white shirt, and you don't want to get dirty. As long as you follow these etiquettes, which I'll go into later, then you should be fine. You don't wear a bib, first of all. What you want to do is you want to get a cloth and you want to get the towel and you want to lay it on your lap, either left leg, right leg, doesn't matter, right? When you're eating, you wipe with the cloth, put the cloth back. When you stand up, you put the cloth on the back of your chair. And if you go into the washroom, you go, come back, rinse and repeat, right? You don't want to do, you don't want to be bibbing. That's the worst thing ever, right? Number two, right? This is how you're gonna keep your clothes from getting dirty as well. Elbows and hands off of the table if possible. Hands on the table are okay, I guess, but your elbows should definitely not be resting on the dinner table. That's just improper, like mannerisms. Ideally, you don't want to be touching the table at all, but I guess that's like super, like, like I don't know, not everybody wants to do that. So at least try to keep your elbows off of the table, right? And this is gonna also help prevent food from spilling on yourself, right? Next up is don't wave or shout at the waiter or waitress. Yeah, don't wave, don't shout, don't snap. You're not in high school. Doing that is really like just kind of annoying, and it'll weird out your date as well. Like you're on a date and you're like waving, you're shouting at the waitress. It kind of throws you out of character and makes you look kind of like a waste suit. That's like the only word I have for it. You don't want to be waving or snapping or trying to get someone's attention. Like you have to remember that waiters and waitresses, like if you're assigned, they have sections, right? And you're assigned to their section, right? You are a customer that they cater for. So a good waiter, a good waitress will naturally gravitate towards you and come and check on you every 4 or 5 minutes, based on like whether you just got food. They might like give you some time to eat whatever, then come back, whatever. Plus there's always the general manager that you can like just say excuse me or whatever, but you don't want to be waving or shouting. It's best to just wait, and it's best to wait for someone to come around. If someone doesn't come around, then you can stand up and go to someone, go find someone, go fetch someone. Even though you really don't need to do that, that's still a little bit excessive. So it's best to just stay where you are and wait. Like, what's so important? You're on a date, right? You're supposed to be enjoying your time. Yeah. Next one is always pull the chair for your date. I know this is a little bit chivalrous or whatever it is. You don't, I mean, if you don't believe in pulling the chair out for a girl, it has nothing to do with being a gentleman or nothing like that. You know, it's just you lead. You want to be leading, you know, and pulling the chair out is like, it's kind of a lead thing to do. I get it. Some people don't see it like that, right? But honestly, I'm not thinking too deep about it. You shouldn't be thinking too deep about it. It's just a chair, pull it out, whatever she sits on it. Like, if she behaves differently, like, because you don't pull the chair out, then something's wrong with her. Like, something's wrong with your date regardless. Like, she shouldn't be expecting you to pull the chair out. You should just be leading and doing that, because if that's in your personality, if that's the type of person you are, then that's what you should do. So if you like the idea of doing that, then do it. Trust me, it won't really affect your dates, but it does go a long way to show the type of person you are. But if you're not that type of person, don't force yourself to do it. So this one is actually kind of optional, right? But yeah, if you can, or if it's something, if you feel like because of the way the culture is right now, you're being shunned for doing that, I'm telling you, you can go ahead and do it if that's what you enjoy doing, if that's what you like doing. You know, you like to be that person, live yourself, be yourself to the fullest. Because ultimately, all that matters to like any girl that you want to be with, or you want to be around, or you want to have around you, is being yourself at the end of the day, right? So if you're that type of person, be that type of person. Don't be afraid to, you know, whatever. Needless to say, and then this next point leads into how you're gonna not get your clothes all messy with food, right? Once you have your your cloth on your legs, either legs, doesn't matter, you can have it across all your legs. Elbows aren't touching the table, right? You're going to want to, when you're eating, the fork comes to you. You don't go to the fork, right? Which means you don't bring your face towards your fork. That's the easiest way to get to, well, you know, to get to get food dripping on you, you know, to get messy. You know, that's the easiest way. When you go to the food, you're actually putting your shirt in danger of getting spills on it, right? Versus when you bring the food to you, that's less likely to happen. And if you're gonna say, oh, the food's gonna be like, you know, dripping, spilling, whatever, first of all, like, it's gonna drip on the tablecloth. Second of all, why would you bring food towards your mouth that's like dripping? If you're having like pasta or something, like, just wait for it to be finished. Like, you know, don't rush, and then just bring it towards your mouth, blah blah blah, taste, whatever, right? So it's pretty obvious, right? The food comes to you, you don't go to the food, right? The fork comes to you, you don't go to the fork, you know. Next up is it's kind of in random order. I could have organized this better, but I guess it's whatever, you know. Next up is call ahead if you're gonna be late. If you're ever gonna be late for a reservation, always call ahead. It's always best to call ahead and let the team know, you know, like, hey, I'm gonna be like 10-15 minutes late. Even if you're gonna be 30 minutes late, call ahead so that they can arrange and fix whatever and rearrange, right? I can guarantee you, like waitresses, waiters, general managers, cooks, everybody hates it when you're late. But if you call ahead, nobody will hate it. If you call ahead and you know you're gonna be late, nobody will hate it, right? As soon as you know you're gonna be late, call ahead. 15 minutes before is good, 30 minutes before is even better. The quicker you call ahead is always the better, right? Because if you wait till the last minute, you're gonna be that table that came late, you know, and you're kind of just like fucking up everybody's vibe, you know? Like, it's, just call ahead. Like, just do the proper thing. I know it sounds simple, right? But like, trust me, there's been times when I've been to restaurants and I know I'm gonna be late, so I call ahead, and it really makes a huge difference. You know, I still have the smooth experience. I still don't have to worry about certain things. You know, I'm still treated blah blah blah. Not that you're gonna be treated any way differently, but calling ahead really calling ahead is like a reset button. It resets your experience and it pushes your night back a little bit, but it doesn't really put stress or pressure on anybody else. And you release pressure from yourself as well when you call ahead and let people know, hey, I'm gonna be late for this, blah blah blah, right? Next up, take small bites and savor your food. This should be obvious. A lot of us rush through things. You know, we rush through life, and sometimes when you're at dinner with hot date or whatever it is, um, it can be easy to forget this, right? But you want to take small bites. You want to savor the food because more important than your date is the dinner that you're having, right? How often do you come out for dinner, right? So if you're spending, and you're paying and whatever, you might as well enjoy the food, right? Good food brings about good conversation. So take your time and eat slowly. There's no rush. You planned the whole day around coming to this place. So you might as well come and enjoy, right? Hopefully you picked a good spot, right? Um, Next up is this one a lot of people don't know, and there's mixed opinions about it, but I believe that I don't know, just hear me out here. The bread that's served to you in most restaurants, honestly, some restaurants don't even serve bread at the beginning because it's kind of a waste. But needless to say, the bread that's served to you at the beginning is not meant to be eaten at the beginning. The bread is for the end of your meal, or like when you're like 75% finished, even like halfway, I guess. But the bread is mostly meant to be a scoop for the sauce. So you're eating a nice pasta, they bring you the bread. Well, they bring you the bread first, right? And then you have the pasta. And once you have the pasta and the gravy is left or the sauce is left in the plate, you take the bread wipe and eat. It's not supposed to be something that you eat right away while it's hot, right? That's why they bring it to you hot, right? So it can cool down throughout the whole course of your meal, right? Otherwise, they might as well bring you stone cold bread, right? And it's a little bit, I don't know. It's something that I see people who are like, I don't know, like when I see someone do when I see someone do that, it's just like, yeah, I try not to judge, but like, you know better, so do better. The bread is meant for the end of your meal or when you're approaching the end, not for the beginning. Okay, next up, my computer screen keeps on closing, but I want to get through these. Um, Whenever you're served something like a steak or like fish, branzino, octopus, whatever it is, you want to taste it before you season it, right? And these last tips are getting more and more refined, more like leaning towards fine dining, because this is kind of optional, but it's not really. Everything that I eat before I put any salt on it, I taste it. Reason being, I want to know if it's already at the right, like seasoning, whether it's already seasoned well. Do I need to add salt to it? I don't want to over salt it. But also, I want to see what the cooks are kind of doing behind the scenes and how they intended for me to taste this dish before I go and make any modifications myself. At the end of the day, I'm at their restaurant and they're cooking for me, right? So I'm judging them and I'm critiquing them. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste the food without seasoning it myself because I want to know whether I should come back to this place ever again, right? If the food is completely atrocious and requires a shit ton of seasoning, then I'm probably not going to come back. But if they can deliver something that's splendid and well seasoned, then this place may be a hidden gem, food for thought. This one is holding wine glasses. When you hold a wine glass, I'm pretty sure everybody knows, you hold it by the stem, not by the cup or the fuck, I don't even remember what it's called. Needless to say, you hold wine glasses by the stem. Obviously, the reason why you do that is to keep the wine at the temperature that it's served at, right? If you're at a restaurant and there's no sommelier and the waitress or waiter is a little bit inexperienced and you have something like a red wine and they serve it to you cold, then it makes sense to hold the glass not by the stem but by the bowl end or whatever you want to call it, because then your hand's gonna heat up the red wine, releasing aromatics, making it more flavorful, more intense, more deep, more whatever, right? That's the only way exception to holding the red wine like that, and it has to be red wine. Otherwise, you want to hold other wines by the stem for the most part. Champagnes doesn't matter. Next up is stop asking for modifications or stop making crazy modifications. If you have if you have like allergies, whatever, that's fine, totally. But like, don't try to reinvent the dish, right? If you're having something like hummus and you're allergic to chickpeas, maybe don't eat hummus. You know, it's made from chickpeas. Yeah, if you're allergic to dairy, like, like, don't have, like Greek salad, or don't have salads that are made of dairy. I can't tell you what to do, obviously, but you're kind of killing your own experience, and it's your money at the end of the day. But, like, yeah, I don't know. You gotta pay to learn. Next up is this one is kind of weird because not a lot of people do it, and people who usually do it indicate to me that they're kind of like maybe high school kids or something, But don't ask for pictures of the food. That's super tacky, and that shows that you kind of have like I don't know, I don't know. It's If you're at a nice restaurant, don't ask for pictures of the food. Read the description. The description should be more than enough. If you want pictures, you should look at Google Pictures or Google, like look at their Google reviews before you come to the restaurant and eat, so you can see what people have posted. But don't ask for pictures. Most people don't, but like just throwing that out there. And now we've reached our final tip. The final tip for the day is gonna be this one is a little specific and it's a little bit of a bonus tip. But if you go to a restaurant that has a chef's table, try to set up the chef's table, right? A lot of fine dining restaurants as well. If you ever end up in a fine dining restaurant, sit at the chef's table if you can, unless you want to see the view. It's a beautiful view, who knows? Because the chef's table has its own perks. Most times when people sit at the chef's table, they'll receive like like free aperitifs, or like free little small dishes for sitting at the chef's table. It's usually called mousse bouche, and it's French for tongue tingler. So it's something to get your palate ready for for the actual meal. So free food if you sit at the chef's table more often than not, right? Yeah, but if you like stuff like this, content like this, let me know. I can keep on making stuff like this, talking about different stuff, restaurant etiquettes, dating tips, all of that kind of stuff. I kind of wasn't aiming to lean into this area, but I kind of got there, and it was a video that I really wanted to make. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think, and see you boys in the next one.